The 10 unbreakable rules every Scorpio lives by, even if they never say it. Every Scorpio has rules, not the kind you read in books, but the kind that live in their bones. Unspoken, unwritten, unbreakable. They don't need to announce them, they simply live them. And if you've ever been close to a Scorpio, you've felt those rules even if you never heard them. You've felt the invisible line you shouldn't cross. You've seen the way their silence speaks louder than anger. You've noticed how they can vanish and rebuild themselves from nothing, as if destruction is just another phase of their evolution. These are not ordinary habits. They are soul contracts, codes Scorpio writes with life itself, rules forged from pain, betrayal, passion, and truth. Each one is a boundary carved by experience, each one a lesson learned the hardest way possible. To love a Scorpio, to understand one, or to be one, you must understand these laws. Because Scorpio doesn't live life casually, every choice is sacred, every silence has meaning, and every rule they hold is a promise to their own soul. This is why Scorpios often look mysterious. It's not that they hide, it's that they protect what's real. They don't talk about what they live by because words can't carry the weight of what they've survived. But if you look closely, you'll see it in their eyes, the same story written in every Scorpio: I will never betray myself again. So tonight, I'm not just listing traits. I'm revealing the hidden commandments of Scorpio's soul, the 10 unbreakable rules they live by. Even when no one is watching, even when they never say a word. If you've ever been that Scorpio who stayed silent instead of explaining your truth, or walked away when no one understood your reasons, then this is your mirror. Stay until the end, because these 10 rules aren't just about Scorpio, they're about what it means to live with integrity, passion, and rebirth in a world that constantly tests your spirit. Have you ever lived by a rule that no one understood but you? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's begin with the first unbreakable rule that defines every Scorpio's power, the rule of emotional control. Rule number 1, the rule of emotional control. If you ever want to understand a Scorpio, watch the moments when they don't react. Because that silence, that calm, piercing stillness is not weakness. It's the first and most sacred rule every Scorpio lives by. Control your emotions or they will control you. Scorpio feels everything: the betrayal, the love, the disrespect, the hope. But you'll rarely see all that storm on the surface. They've learned that emotions are sacred energy, not weapons to be thrown in a moment of pain. To Scorpio, emotional control is not about pretending not to care. It's about protecting what matters most: their power, their dignity, their focus. There's a story every Scorpio knows too well, the moment they let emotion take the wheel and lost something they loved. Maybe they said words they can't take back. Maybe they trusted too deeply, too fast. Or maybe they let anger destroy what silence could have healed. After that day, they promised themselves never again. From then on, Scorpio became a master of emotional restraint, not because they stopped feeling, but because they learned to transmute feeling into strength. They'll smile while burning inside. They'll listen while already knowing the truth. They'll walk away from chaos, not because they're done caring, but because they know staying would destroy them. That's what makes Scorpio different. They don't chase peace. They create it by mastering their own reactions. You see, in the Scorpio world, emotions are like fire. If you let it burn uncontrolled, it consumes you. But if you contain it, it becomes light warmth and transformation. That's why Scorpio's calm can be intimidating. It's not coldness, it's power under discipline. It's energy that could erupt but chooses not to. Some people mistake that control for indifference. They'll say Scorpio doesn't care. But that's the illusion. Scorpio cares more deeply than most. They just refuse to hand that power to anyone who hasn't earned it. Because to Scorpio, emotions are sacred currency, and not everyone deserves access to their vault. And here's the life lesson behind it. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's sovereignty. It's the art of choosing peace over reaction and self-mastery over chaos. Scorpio teaches us that your emotions are meant to guide you, not govern you, once you understand that no one can use your heart against you again. Have you ever had to stay calm when every part of you wanted to explode? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to rule number 2, the one that defines why Scorpio's loyalty is sacred and why betrayal becomes their deepest scar. Rule number 2, the rule of loyalty and revenge. Scorpio doesn't give loyalty easily, but once they do, it's absolute. Their trust isn't casual, it's sacred. They don't promise loyalty, they become it. And that's why betrayal for a Scorpio isn't just pain, it's sacrilege. When Scorpio commits to someone, a friend, a lover, a cause, it's not a surface connection, it's a soul pact. They invest their energy, their protection, their intuition, their time. They love with depth and defend with fire. That's why when that trust is broken, the reaction isn't simple anger, it's transformation. Something inside them dies, and something new, colder, sharper, rises in its place. Scorpio never forgets betrayal, not because they're vengeful by nature, but because betrayal changes the way they see the world. It rewires their soul. They stop believing in words and start watching actions. They stop expecting loyalty and start demanding proof. To Scorpio, betrayal is not just a wound, it's initiation. It's the test that turns love into wisdom. Here's the paradox. Scorpio doesn't need to seek revenge. Their karma is precise time itself becomes their ally. The betrayer always reveals their own downfall. Scorpio doesn't need to lift a finger. They simply stand back and let truth work in silence. Because the greatest revenge to a Scorpio is peace. It's rebuilding stronger. It's becoming so powerful that nothing broken in the past can touch them again. Still, there's another side to this rule, the one few outsiders understand. Scorpio's loyalty runs both ways. If you stand by them when they fall, they will protect you with their life. They'll fight your battles in silence, heal your pain when you don't even ask, and guard your name as if it were their own. Their loyalty is their language of love. It's how they say, "You are a part of my circle now, sacred ground." But if you cross that circle, the Scorpio doesn't rage. They simply erase you. No announcement, no argument, just a quiet disappearance, and that silence becomes your punishment. Because for Scorpio, once you lose their loyalty, you lose the safest place you'll ever have. That's why this second rule is unbreakable. Give loyalty, but never to the unworthy. Because once Scorpio loves you, they're all in, and when they withdraw, it's forever. Life lesson: loyalty isn't about staying no matter what. It's about standing with truth even when it hurts. Scorpio reminds us that loyalty to others means nothing without loyalty to your own soul first. Have you ever forgiven someone but never trusted them again? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to rule number 3, the rule that hides behind every Scorpio's quiet stare. The rule of silence. Rule number 3, the rule of silence. If power had a sound for Scorpio, it would be silence. They know that silence is not emptiness, it's energy being stored, guarded, refined. This is their third rule: never speak before the truth is ready. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill it with words, with explanations, with noise. But Scorpio, they understand that silence is where truth reveals itself. They can sit in quiet tension longer than anyone because they know patience exposes everything. When others lose their calm, Scorpio is observing. When others speak to defend themselves, Scorpio stays silent and learns. Their silence is not indifference, it's strategy. They read energy more than words. They listen not for what's said, but for what's avoided. That's how they always seem to just know, not because of magic, but because of awareness sharpened by silence. Scorpio's silence can heal or destroy. It can comfort you when they understand your pain, or haunt you when they've decided you've crossed the line. Because their silence has many meanings. Sometimes it's peace, sometimes it's protection, and sometimes it's the warning before transformation. People often mistake their quiet for coldness, but Scorpio is not cold, they're calculating what's worth their words. They've learned that once something is spoken, it can never be taken back. So they guard their words as they guard their hearts selectively, intentionally, wisely. There's a hidden truth Scorpio learned early in life. Silence reveals who deserves your voice. The more they matured, the more they realized those who truly understand them don't need explanations, and those who demand them will never understand anyway. That's why Scorpio can vanish without closure. It's not cruelty, it's spiritual protection. When they stop explaining, it means the lesson is over. They know silence ends arguments, words never could. Still, silence isn't only their shield, it's their mirror. In solitude, Scorpio transforms. They sit with their wounds, face their shadow, and rebuild from ashes without asking for applause. Every rebirth begins in silence, that sacred space where the old self dissolves and the new self breathes for the first time. This is the secret of their calm, what you call mystery, Scorpio calls discipline. They don't speak because they're hiding something. They stay silent because they've mastered the art of waiting for the truth to come to them. Life lesson. Not every silence needs to be broken. Sometimes silence is the answer, the boundary, the proof of growth. Scorpio reminds us that peace is not found in having the last word, it's found in no longer needing to. Have you ever realized your silence said more than your words ever could? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to rule number 4, where Scorpio's soul begins its most sacred ritual, the rule of self-renewal. Rule number 4. The rule of self-renewal. Every Scorpio carries a truth that few can endure. In order to evolve, you must first be destroyed. That's why their 4th rule is sacred. When life burns you to ashes, rise, but never as the same person again. No sign understands the art of dying and being reborn like Scorpio. They've been through endings that would have shattered most people, the betrayal that closed their heart, the loss that ripped their spirit, the failure that erased everything they built. But instead of staying broken, Scorpio uses those ashes as soil for their next version. They don't escape their pain, they study it, they dissect it, they turn it into wisdom. Most people fear the ending of things. Scorpio has learned to welcome it. Because to them, endings are not destruction, they're transformation in disguise. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every collapse is simply a message from the universe saying, it's time to evolve. That's why Scorpio never truly loses. They shed. They outgrow what no longer serves them, even if it means walking away from everything familiar. You'll watch them disappear for months, maybe years, and when they return, it's like meeting someone reborn. New eyes, new silence, new purpose. They don't chase closure, they become it. They don't need apologies. They transmute pain into power quietly, privately, beautifully. It's not about pretending to be strong, it's about learning to rebuild the world from within. If you've ever seen a Scorpio after they've been broken, you've seen that glow, the calm strength that says, I made peace with what tried to destroy me. It's not arrogance, it's survival refined into serenity. Scorpio doesn't wait for permission to heal. They alchemize the fire themselves. They die to their past selves over and over again until nothing fake remains. This is why Scorpio's energy feels eternal. While others age, they transform. While others repeat old cycles, Scorpio ends them. They know that destruction isn't the enemy, stagnation is. Because to a Scorpio, the real tragedy isn't death, it's living the same story forever. And so they embrace the flames. They walk through loss not as victims, but as architects of their rebirth. Every scar becomes a map. Every heartbreak becomes a prayer. Every ending becomes a beginning that belongs entirely to them. Life lesson. Your pain is not a punishment, it's an initiation. You are allowed to burn down who you were to become, who you're meant to be. Scorpio reminds us that sometimes the greatest act of strength is surrender, letting the old you die with grace, so the new you can finally breathe. Have you ever felt that a version of you had to die so you could finally start living? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to rule number 5, the law that reveals why Scorpio's emotions are their greatest weapon and their greatest teacher, the rule of emotional depth. Rule number 5, the rule of emotional depth. To feel deeply is both a blessing and a curse, and Scorpio was born to master that paradox. Their 5th rule is unspoken but unyielding. Feel everything, but never let it drown you. No one feels like a Scorpio does. They don't just touch emotions, they dive into them. When they love, it's total. When they hurt, it's cosmic. They can feel the shift in a person's energy before a word is spoken. They can sense lies wrapped in a smile, and they can read the pain that others try so hard to hide. To most, that depth would be unbearable, like living with the ocean inside your chest. But to Scorpio, it's their native element. They don't fear intensity, they need it. Because in that emotional gravity, they find truth, the raw, unfiltered essence of human experience. That's why Scorpio often struggles in shallow environments. Small talk, half love, fake smiles, they can't survive there. They crave connection that feels like confession. They want love that strips away illusion, friendships that heal, conversations that awaken. Their soul is wired for depth, not distraction. But that same depth is also where their darkness lives. They can drown in memories, spiral in pain, and hold grudges that turn to ghosts. Scorpio's heart is both temple and battlefield, where love and rage, faith and fear, light and shadow constantly collide. That's why the wise Scorpio learns the hardest lesson of all: depth without direction becomes destruction. They learn to channel emotion into creation, art, purpose, service, transformation. Because when their feelings have meaning, they become unstoppable. Every great Scorpio story begins with heartbreak and ends with rebirth. There's a reason their energy changes. Every room they enter, they carry the vibration of truth. Their emotions are not chaos, they're compass. They feel what others deny, and in that awareness lies their spiritual power. Still, their emotional honesty often isolates them. People who live on the surface rarely understand someone who feels life this deeply. But Scorpio doesn't need to be understood, they need to stay authentic. Because it's through feeling deeply that they fulfill their highest purpose, to heal the world by understanding its pain. Every tear they've cried became a teacher. Every heartbreak refined their compassion. Every emotion, even rage, taught them how to love with wisdom. That's the alchemy of Scorpio's depth, turning emotion into enlightenment. Life lesson: emotional depth isn't weakness, it's sacred awareness. The goal is not to feel less, but to feel wisely. Scorpio reminds us that the ocean never apologizes for its waves, and neither should you for your emotions. Have you ever felt too deeply in a world that rewards those who feel nothing? Comment if this resonates with you. Now take a breath, because as we leave these first 5 rules, the laws of power, silence, loyalty, and emotion, we prepare to enter the second half of Scorpio's hidden code, the sacred rules of the soul. You've made it through the outer laws, the surface rules that protect Scorpio's power, but every Scorpio knows true strength doesn't come from control, it comes from surrender. This is where their second set of codes begins, not in the fire of the mind, but in the quiet temple of the soul. Because beyond the armor, beyond the secrets, beyond the silence, Scorpio is a seeker, a traveler between worlds, half human, half phoenix, always burning, always becoming. If the first 5 rules taught Scorpio how to survive, the next 5 reveal how they transcend. They're not about control anymore, they're about meaning, forgiveness, and spiritual rebirth. You see, by the time Scorpio reaches this part of their journey, They've already died 1,000 small deaths to their illusions, their pride, their need to be understood. And what remains is something rare, a soul stripped of muck standing naked in truth. This is the Scorpio. Few people ever meet the one who has walked through their own darkness and found light not at the end of the tunnel, but inside the tunnel itself. That's why this second chapter isn't about winning battles, it's about making peace with them. It's about seeing karma not as punishment, but as a mirror of growth. It's about learning that love is not possession, that silence is healing, and that rebirth is not a moment, it's a way of living. When Scorpio awakens, they stop fighting life. They begin to flow with it, guiding its currents instead of resisting them. They realize that every person they've lost, every betrayal they've endured, every pain that broke them was not a curse, but a teacher. So now we step into the soul of Scorpio, where the rules are no longer about control, but conscious evolution. The lessons that follow are the sacred ones, the ones you don't just live by, but become. Have you ever felt like your spirit was being remade through the pain you didn't choose? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's begin the deeper journey with rule number 6, the rule of karma and justice. Rule 6. The rule of karma and justice. For Scorpio, justice is not a wish, it's a law of the universe. They live by an unbreakable truth. No energy ever disappears. It always finds its way back. While others scream for revenge, Scorpio stays silent, not because they forgive easily, but because they trust the balance. They've watched karma work too perfectly to ever doubt it again. The universe has always been their courtroom time, their witness, and truth, their judge. You see, Scorpio doesn't believe in coincidence. They believe in cause and consequence. When someone hurts them, they don't pray for punishment. They simply step back, knowing that everything sent out returns in equal measure. And when Scorpio themselves cross a line, they accept what follows. That's the depth of their integrity. They don't just believe in karma, they honor it. They understand something most people don't, that karma isn't revenge, it's education. It's the sacred teacher that turns pain into awareness and awareness into wisdom. That's why Scorpio can go through unimaginable suffering and still come out clearer, calmer, stronger. They don't ask, why me? They ask, what is this trying to teach me? That question alone turns every wound into transformation. This rule explains why Scorpio often seems to know when something bad is coming for someone who's done wrong. It's not magic, it's pattern recognition, born of intuition and experience. They've lived enough cycles to see that everything hidden eventually rises. The lie finds light, the betrayal returns home, the unjust fall on their own sword. Scorpio doesn't chase retribution, they wait for gravity to do its job. But here's what makes this rule sacred, not cruel. Scorpio's goal isn't to watch others suffer. It's to understand why things happen the way they do. When they truly awaken, they realize that even the ones who hurt them were part of their growth. That realization frees them. Because forgiveness for Scorpio isn't saying it's okay, it's saying, I trust the lesson. This is why you can't win or lose against a Scorpio. There's no battle to begin with. They don't fight for justice, they embody it. Their very presence feels like balance, intense, yes, but fair. They live with precision, no manipulation, no half-truths, no games, just alignment. And when karma finally completes its circle, Scorpio doesn't celebrate. They bow, because they understand the cost of every cycle. The pain it took to learn compassion, the silence it took to gain peace. Life lesson: justice isn't about making others pay, it's about restoring balance within yourself. When you trust the universe's timing, you stop chasing revenge and start walking in peace. Scorpio reminds us that karma is not punishment, it's perfection. Have you ever seen karma work so perfectly that it left you speechless? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to rule number 7, the law that governs Scorpio's most dangerous and divine emotion, the rule of love and possession. Rule number 7, the rule of love and possession. When Scorpio loves, they don't fall, they dive. It's never halfway, never casual, never safe. Their 7th rule is carved deep into the soul: love completely, but never lose yourself in the process. To love for Scorpio is to open a door that few dare to approach. They don't do light connections, they crave something consuming, sacred and real. They want love that transforms, not entertains. That's why a Scorpio's love feels magnetic, even dangerous. It's not because they want control, it's because they feel destiny pulling through every heartbeat. But the same intensity that makes their love unforgettable can also make it destructive. Scorpio doesn't love in halves. They merge. They want to understand you, protect you, and sometimes become you. It's not out of insecurity, it's out of devotion. When they love, they don't see separation. They see two souls trying to dissolve the illusion of distance. That's why Scorpio's greatest challenge in love is possession. They give so much that they sometimes forget love is not ownership, it's reflection. They have to learn that what belongs to them will never need to be caged, and what needs to be caged was never really theirs. When Scorpio hasn't yet evolved, their love can turn into control. They start reading silence as rejection, distance as betrayal. They try to protect the connection by gripping it tighter, but the tighter they hold, the faster it slips away. It's a painful lesson every Scorpio learns: love cannot be guarded by fear. True love requires freedom, not distance, but trust. And for a sign that feels everything so deeply, that's the hardest surrender of all. When Scorpio matures, their love becomes a sanctuary. They stop chasing and start attracting. They no longer need to own, they simply embody what they desire. Their presence becomes enough. Their energy itself becomes an invitation. They realize that the highest form of love is not attachment, but alignment. And here lies the paradox that defines Scorpio's love. They are both the storm and the calm. Their passion is fire, but their loyalty is earth. They can destroy you with truth or heal you with silence. Because when a Scorpio loves consciously, they don't consume you, they awaken you. They remind you what it means to feel alive. That's why you never forget a Scorpio. Even when they're gone, their energy lingers not as pain, but as transformation. They mark your soul, not your calendar. Life lesson: love is not about possession, it's about presence. You can't lose what's truly aligned with your soul. Scorpio teaches us that love is not about controlling someone else's freedom, it's about mastering your own heart. Have you ever loved someone so deeply it forced you to grow? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to rule number 8, where Scorpio's soul steps fully into its destiny, the rule of transformation. Rule 8, the rule of transformation. Every Scorpio lives many lives in one. You can see it in their eyes, the weight of endings they never asked for, and the wisdom born from surviving them. Their 8th rule is simple but eternal: when life changes, you let it. Don't resist the death that brings rebirth. Scorpio is the sign of transformation for a reason. They are not here to stay the same. They are born to evolve again and again, to burn down everything false until only truth remains. And no matter how many times they fall apart, they always rise stronger, wiser, quieter. To Scorpio, transformation isn't a choice, it's a sacred rhythm. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every loss is a mirror the universe holds up, whispering, "Who are you now that everything has changed?" And Scorpio answers not with words, but with rebirth. They know that life doesn't ask permission. Before it ends a chapter, it takes, it breaks, it tests. But Scorpio doesn't run from the storm, they walk into it, because somewhere in the destruction they always find themselves again. That's what makes them the phoenix of the zodiac. They turn pain into alchemy and endings into awakenings. Others might see Scorpio's constant reinvention as drama, but it's actually devotion, a devotion to truth, to growth, to evolution. While most cling to comfort, Scorpio walks into transformation like it's a ceremony. They know every death of the old self brings them closer to their soul's purpose. But transformation isn't always glorious. Sometimes it means losing everyone. Sometimes it means letting go of a version of yourself you loved. It means mourning identities, illusions, even dreams. It's the kind of pain that makes you question everything, but also the kind that brings divine clarity. When Scorpio transforms, they don't announce it. They withdraw. They vanish into their cocoon-cutting ties, going silent, choosing solitude over confusion. And when they emerge, their energy has changed so completely that people barely recognize them. It's not pretending, it's evolution. Because Scorpio doesn't just survive transformation, they are transformation. Their soul is designed to rebuild their heart, designed to remember, and their mind designed to understand that nothing real can be destroyed. The wise Scorpio learns that transformation isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who they always were before the world told them who to be. That's why, in the end, Scorpio doesn't fear change. They embody it. They've seen enough death, physical, emotional, spiritual, to know that every ending is an invitation to rise higher. And when they do, the world around them changes too. Because when a Scorpio transforms, the universe takes notice. Life lesson: transformation is not punishment, it's purification. You don't lose yourself when you change. You shed what was never truly you. Scorpio reminds us that the path to freedom always begins with fire. Have you ever looked back and realized you were never meant to stay the same? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to Rule 9, the law that defines Scorpio's essence at its purest, the rule of authenticity. Rule 9, the rule of authenticity. For Scorpio, truth is not an option, it's oxygen. Their 9th rule is simple, but it defines their entire existence: be real or be gone. Scorpio can sense lies the way others sense temperature. They can feel fake smiles, empty promises, and hidden motives from miles away. That's why authenticity isn't just a preference, it's survival. They've lived through too many masks, too many manipulations, too many people pretending to care. So now they crave the raw, unfiltered, imperfect truth. You'll never win a Scorpio with perfection. You'll win them with honesty. They don't care if you're broken, confused, or still healing as long as you're real. What they cannot stand is hypocrisy, shallowness, or emotional dishonesty. Because to Scorpio, the truth, even when it hurts, is sacred. That's why they live with intensity. They don't dilute their emotions to make others comfortable. They don't wear masks to fit into rooms that don't honor their spirit. And they don't say, "I'm fine," when they're not, unless they've already decided you're not safe with their truth. Their authenticity is their armor. It protects them from the noise of a world built on illusions. Scorpio understands that pretending is exhausting, and truth, though heavy, is liberating. That's why even their silence feels honest. It's not manipulation, it's respect for their own boundaries. But this authenticity comes at a cost. It makes them misunderstood. Their blunt honesty, their emotional transparency, their refusal to play games, all of it intimidates people who aren't ready for real connection. Yet Scorpio doesn't apologize for it, because every time they tried to fake it, life punished them with emptiness. And every time they honored their truth, life rewarded them with peace. For Scorpio, authenticity isn't about being loud, it's about being aligned. They've learned that the soul can't breathe in places where it's forced to pretend, so they choose honesty even if it means standing alone. They choose truth even if it costs them comfort, because Scorpio would rather lose everything fake than gain anything false. That's why people who truly know Scorpio feel something rare safety. In a world full of masks, they are real. They give you permission to be real too. Their energy says, don't perform here, just be. Life lesson: authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being truthful. It's the courage to live without disguises, to let your soul be seen without filters. Scorpio reminds us that nothing pure ever hides, and nothing fake ever lasts. Have you ever realized that honesty costs less than pretending? Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's move to Rule number 10, the final and most sacred law of all, the rule of spiritual rebirth. Rule 10, the rule of spiritual rebirth. Every Scorpio lives 1,000 deaths, and each one brings them closer to who they were always meant to be. The 10th and final rule is the heart of their existence. You are not your pain, you are what survives it. For Scorpio, life has never been gentle. They've been broken, misunderstood, abandoned, and reborn more times than they can count. But what most people mistake for tragedy is actually their initiation. Because every ending Scorpio endures is a doorway, a passage from illusion to truth. Their soul is built for resurrection. They know that to reach higher states of being, something old must die. The ego, the fear, the attachment, the illusion of control. Scorpio doesn't just let these parts go, they burn them in sacred fire. They release, they grieve, and they emerge clean, stripped of all that is false, glowing in the quiet dignity of survival. That's why their life feels like a series of reincarnations within a single lifetime. They die to who they were yesterday, to make space for who they must become tomorrow. And every time they do, their energy becomes purer, their love deeper, their wisdom sharper. Scorpio's spiritual rebirth isn't about forgetting the past, it's about reclaiming power from it. They don't erase what hurt them, they transform it into light. That's why their scars don't shame them, they honor them as proof of their evolution. The spiritual Scorpio understands that rebirth isn't one big event, it's a daily practice. It's waking up every morning and choosing not to repeat the same pain. It's saying, I forgive what broke me, but I won't become it. It's learning that peace doesn't come from avoiding darkness, but from walking through it with eyes open. And perhaps that's what makes Scorpio the most spiritually advanced sign of the zodiac. They are willing to die to their illusions to be reborn in truth. They don't cling to comfort, they don't chase approval. They seek alignment with purpose, with spirit, with the rhythm of the universe itself. That's why, in the end, the Scorpio soul is not defined by what they lost, but by what they refuse to let die: their faith, their integrity, their light. They are proof that destruction can be divine, that loss can be sacred, and that rebirth is the highest form of love, love for life itself. Life lesson: rebirth is not about starting over, it's about starting truer. Scorpio teaches us that your soul doesn't need to be fixed, it needs to be remembered. Because once you remember who you are, nothing in this world can destroy you again. Have you ever felt like life was burning you down just to rebuild you wiser? Comment if this resonates with you. Now take a deep breath. Because as this final rule closes, a new beginning opens. You've just walked through the hidden laws of Scorpio's soul, and if you're still here, it means part of you carries that same fire. Final summary and conclusion. The path of the unbreakable soul. You've just walked through the 10 unbreakable rules every Scorpio lives by, and maybe as you listened, you realized these rules aren't just about astrology. They're about survival, about evolution, about remembering who you are when life tries to make you forget. From the silence that guards their power to the loyalty that defines their love. From the control of emotion to the surrender of rebirth. Scorpio's laws are not written in books, they're written in scars. In moments of standing alone, in the eyes that have seen both darkness and divinity and learned to hold them both without breaking. Each rule tells a story. The rule of emotional control teaches mastery, not suppression. The rule of loyalty and revenge teaches integrity, not vengeance. The rule of silence teaches wisdom in restraint. The rule of renewal teaches resurrection after ruin. The rule of emotional depth teaches compassion through pain. And in the sacred half of their soul, The rule of karma teaches faith in balance. The rule of love teaches freedom within devotion. The rule of transformation teaches courage to evolve. The rule of authenticity teaches truth over approval. And the rule of spiritual rebirth teaches the final truth that endings are never the end. They are evolution disguised as loss. When you look at Scorpio through these laws, you no longer see a mysterious sign, you see a teacher, a guide, a soul that came to this world to prove that nothing real can be destroyed and nothing false can survive forever. Because the real secret of Scorpio isn't power, it's purpose. They are here to remind us that we are not our wounds, but our wisdom. That strength is not about control, but surrender. That silence is not emptiness, but understanding. And that love, when purified through pain, becomes something eternal. So if you're a Scorpio or if you love one, remember this. You were not born to live an easy life. You were born to live a meaningful one. And every time you thought life was ending, it was only preparing you for another rebirth. Life lesson. The soul's greatest power is its ability to rise. When you stop fearing endings, you begin to live with truth. When you stop resisting transformation, you meet your higher self. And when you live by your own unbreakable rules, you become untouchable, not because you never fall, but because you always rise. If this journey spoke to your heart, share your thoughts below. Have you recognized yourself in these 10 rules? Comment if this resonates with you. And if you believe in awakening transformation and the wisdom that lives within your zodiac path, subscribe to the Path to Buddhist Wisdom so you never walk this journey alone. Because here every sign has a story and every soul has a lesson. Until next time, walk in your truth, protect your peace, and remember the most powerful souls are not the ones who never break, but the ones who rise sacred from their own ashes.